Well, everyone, we've made it through our first week of 2021 already, and I hope you're safe, healthy, and taken care, as it's looking to be an interesting one, and we're only 8 bloody days in. But I digress. A week ago, saw us sitting down with Clay Entertainment's 2020 roadmap for Don't Starve Together to do a little reminiscing, and best of all, share some joys had with the game's character releases from last year. And today is going to look very similar to those who joined us then. Only, it's content update time. So let us start from the beginning, shall we? And we actually begin a whole 4 months into the year, as on April 23rd, 2020, the Seashells update hit the live servers, and crab was on the menu. Yes, indeed, folks, Pearl, the Crab King, new ocean fish, and more were thus added to the game, and it was pretty spectacular, actually. Well, maybe apart from the Crab King, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But with that, let me just say this actually. While half of the major content updates released last year were in fact seafaring related, I must confess that I really only have one gripe to take away from the entire year, and I literally just said his name. Still, things were changing. In some rather big ways too, although at the time, we didn't really know the extent of it all, of course. But as per usual, the update dropped with another cinematic for your eyeballs to witness, and I'll be sure to leave a link to everything for you down below, but we saw messages in a bottle make their way from Shipwrecked to Don't Starve Together. Sunken treasure, that in fact might be another gripe to add to my short list, as I've just kinda reminded myself of them at this very moment. The Crab King, with all sorts of gems socketed, and even a mysterious structure that we now know is the Celestial Tribute piece. Again, I think we can all agree that these animations are always a fun watch, so do yourself a favor and watch them again, why don't ya? The update brought with it Pearl's quest, and just Pearl herself, the first NPC of Don't Starve Together ever, and like the first actual quest in this game ever, like a literal quest with steps that leads to an ultimate goal. And you know what? It's awesome. And of course, when you go beyond that and start getting more messages in a bottle, she leads you to Sunken Treasure, which technically isn't new because you're able to do that in Shipwreck for the most part. But the problem is the loot sucks. So again, I think that's my gripe number 2. That needs a little bit more love, I think. The seasonal ocean fish that they added, meaning a specific fish for autumn, winter, spring, and summer, all great. Actually, all of them are pretty darn fantastic, fun loot drops, and could be quite useful actually in their particular seasons. And guess what? That was the point. Oh, but Wobsters, everyone. This update brought Wobsters to the game, and my bloody goodness, Wobsters are kind of overpowered. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Holy crap, so easy to catch, respawn so quickly, and lead to 2 fantastic dishes. It's kind of insane. Use Wobsters, everyone. And of course, the Crab King. Pretty much the crowning mob of this update, let's say, sucks. I'm just gonna come out right and say it. I'm surprised how many people also agree with that, by the way. I see people all the time talking about how the Crab King is a garbage boss. And he is. He's the toadstool of the sea, but like worse in every way imaginable. Mostly because of how we can actually navigate the seas, but that's a whole other question that should have been answered in 2019, but it wasn't. But in short, folks, I can spend an entire day talking about the Crab King. I'm just going to be completely blunt. The terrible boss. Absolutely terrible boss. Which is a shame because when he got added, it was going to add a threat to the sea. And I'll be honest, I do like his mechanics with all the gems and how it impacts the fight. That I would keep. We need to just work on how we can actually bloody kill the thing. But again, another thing entirely. But the seas were technically still tame. So, I think we needed to prepare for some trouble. Literally, as just a few months later came our second dose of ocean content for the year, everyone. Troubled waters. And hold on to your butts, folks, because I'm about to say something that may shock ya. But Troubled Waters here was by far the best seafaring update we have ever gotten, and I have zero, count 'em, zero complaints. Heck, I don't even know if I can even scrounge up anything negative to say about the update itself without just saying that I wish I encountered these new additions more often simply due to my affinity to not want to sail in this game. Seriously, from sharks made of rocks to rocks taken over by seaweed, everyone praised both Forgotten Knowledge and Reap What You Sow for hogging the spotlight, and rightfully so, mind you. However, I'd argue that Troubled Waters did it first, and this coming from me is even surprising me. And honestly, the only thing it didn't do was give us a worthy cinematic. At least not in comparison to what we have come to know from them, that is. It's not bad. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just short. Like, really short. So much so that I need to stop talking about it now before the bloody thing is actually over. So check it out for yourself later if you wish. The seaweeds, the barnacles that they brought, and then just the fact that this update added a bunch of crap for leafy meat out of nowhere. So bloody good. Those three things alone were huge. But the leafy meat recipes themselves, mind-blowing. But then comes Wavy Jones and Terror Claws, everyone. Oh, I love these things. Wavy Jones, honestly, might be one of the best single additions they've ever done in this game. I love Wavy Jones so much. I don't know why, because honestly, he's pretty rare to encounter, and the only way to do it is, of course, when you're out sailing at nighttime, low salinity, blah, blah, blah. But I just love how much he messes with you on the water. I enjoy it. I enjoy him as a being, and I want to know more about Wavy Jones. So tell us more, Clay. Oh, but Rock Jaws too, everyone. They've undergone a couple of changes since this update. They weren't necessarily the best when they first came out, but Rock Jaws, love them. Pretty much just the opposite of narwhals. That's kind of all you have to say. They're pretty dangerous too, man. Lots of health, beefy damage, and hit you multiple times. They're dangerous. So yeah, Troubled Waters indeed. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I think this is also the update that added all the mast crafts, right? The lightning rod mast and the light mast. Those were good additions. Those two things, fantastic. Oh, but in all this unforeseen praise, everyone, I'm forgetting about this next update, and shame on me for doing so. Oh, I kid. There is absolutely no way I would forget this, everyone. Forgotten Knowledge. I'll come right out and say it. At least in one beard's opinion, Forgotten Knowledge here is by far one of, if not the best update Clay has brought to the game in years. Two entirely new, distinct biomes, fantastical mobs that actually prove to serve a real purpose if used correctly, real lore, which was something we have been dying for, and said lore was actually connected to the ancients, which was a huge bonus, but on top of it all, it was lunar content through and through. Simply glorious. And you may have to understand some context here to perhaps appreciate why I, and many others who adore Lunar Content, cherished this update so much. For you see, the first batch of Lunar Content released way back when, on May 16th, 2019, with the introduction of the Lunar Island. And then, nothing. Because most of 2019 was all seafaring content. And while yes, she sells Seashells in 2020 certainly provided a little nibble of lunar loots, it wouldn't be until Forgotten Knowledge's release in October of 2020 that we'd see significant progress in this realm. The Moon's Realm. It was awesome. Everything felt new again, and I was a kid in a candy store almost. Plus, Clay dropped an amazing cinematic alongside the update, and it is one that I simply cannot spoil for you at all, so you have to see it for yourself. It's important. That ending, though. The Lunar Grotto, Mush Gnomes, Moonshrooms, Mole Bats, oh my gosh, and that's only one biome. Then there's the Ancient Archive, activating the biome and what that means, activating and what it does when you start the war, centipedes, puzzles, knowledge gain, new celestial pieces, mysterious energy at the end of it. Do I even need to say more? Seriously, with this update and the update to come, we have covered them both through and through, so I'm not going to keep you long, and I'm not going to go thing by thing, although I really, really want to. Just Forgotten Knowledge was incredible, phenomenal, because it set up the new endgame for this game, and what could be better than that? But yes, all this talk is making me hungry, which also presents this question: have you been eating your veggies lately? I hope so, but if not, then our final update has got you covered. Reap What You Sow released on December 15th, 2020. And while it wasn't seafaring related, had no connection to any lunar content, and quite frankly, did nothing to progress the game any further than it already was, the update is still possibly one of the biggest the game has ever seen yet. And that's saying something. In short, this release changed farming and a select few characters forever. And people are still debating to this day whether that was a good thing at all. But let's look past that and just lavish some love on the Reap What You Sow animation, shall we? Because it's simple, short, but all around great fun as we get to see darn near every survivor coming together to work together on these very new farms. And it's bloody adorable. I love seeing them actually liking one another and actually working together as a team. So this gets a passing grade from me with no questions asked. Good stuff. By the way, totally forgot to change that during the segments. Not even going to go back and do it. Whatever. But everyone, as I said, I covered Reap What You Sow and Forgotten Knowledge like crazy. Thoroughly. In fact, I covered Reap What You Sow more than Forgotten Knowledge, which even shocks me when I was going to do this video here. So, I'm not going to keep you long because I've kept you long enough. I'm just going to fire through some questions. Did Reap What You Sow need to happen? The changes, that is. Nope. Did they happen? Sure did. Were they bad? Not at all. Is the farming difficult? Nope. You get what you get out of it. That's the whole bloody point. It's the name of the update, for Pete's sake. You reap what you sow. How about the character changes? Wicker bottoms. Okay, this one I understand the sentiment of people saying, what the heck, Clay, why'd you do this? Because it was very random. Just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in a farming update, on a hotfix, late at night, boom, wicker bottom changes. I get it, that's a problem. But what about wormwood? Oh boy, these changes, phenomenal stuff. That's all I gotta say about that. So, at the end of the day, the update was fine, it was just random. But, this is not the only time Clay has done something random like this, folks. As yes, for those of you very well aware of what happens in this game, you probably were wondering throughout this video why I skipped over the quality of life updates from last year. We got one in May that added some flavor to Wilson's beards, a new mechanic for favorite foods for every survivor, new boss statues, new item skins, and even tweaked some item crafts and uses entirely. Then came August with its very own updates that added even more beards, but to our Spider Boy Weber instead. We got a cookbook to keep track of our munchies, loot tables for mobs were altered, new settings were added for inventory convenience, and plenty more. Yup, these small, random updates made some fantastic changes to the game and deserve the shout out here today for sure, as they stood with the best of 2020, that's for certain. And this might shock you, but quite honestly, I can't wait for more quality of life update changes. I like those things. In fact, if Clay deemed it feasible and they just wanted to and they couldn't think of anything else, do more of those. Because I myself can think of a lot of small things that would turn into bigger and better things for the game. The thing is, though, I myself am not going to share those things until we see what comes from the Year of the Beefalo event, coming very likely next week or the week after. But, speaking of, 2020 started off with a banger on January 21st with the Year of the Carrot event. In short, it was just a fun little update involving carrot training and racing. And it was just dumb joy practically. Plus, it gave us an absolute crap ton of item and structure skins, which was an amazing bonus. So the Year of the Beefalo, here we come. Oof. That was a lot, folks. Like, a lot. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. Here is my personal review of the content released for Don't Starve Together in 2020. Seriously, what else is there to say? So much content, even in the year where very likely could have slowed down and no one would have complained. And it was worthy content too. So much so that the seafaring stuff even gives me hope for the future of that type of content. It's his beard right now. Who captured beard? You know what I mean? But seriously, 2020 sucked, everyone. We all know that. We made it through. But Don't Starve Together was certainly a light in a very dark and long tunnel for sure. So well done, Clay. And of course, many, many thanks to you, and bloody get your rest if you need it. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all. I cannot wait to see what 2021 brings to the table for this game. Well wishes, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.